Balls buddies, hello and welcome to another Wednesday and another AC. That's me talking balls, and thank you for joining me. I've got to start with an apology. There was no Bowlers World Blast from the Past trawl through the archives on Monday, and that was for several reasons. One, I'm on school holidays and I had a bit of a lie-in. Two, I had a look through several March editions of Bowlers World, and to be perfectly honest with you, there wasn't a lot to get my teeth into. And thirdly, I couldn't be bothered. No, I'm only joking. There's only two reasons. I was on holiday and I just had a bit of a day off, got on with lots of things, and went for a round of golf instead. And I'm going again. Five rounds booked this week. Anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. Remember, if you enjoy this video, please hit that like button. If you're not already a Bowls buddy and a member of this wonderful community of ours, please hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free of charge, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for notifications of new content on the channel, which is normally 4 times a week when I can be bothered getting out of bed. So on to today's Talking Bowls, and I have to start with two, not very pleasant pieces of news, really. At the weekend, I heard that Mick Chapman from Blackburn had unfortunately passed away at the age of 75. Mick was a very, very good competition player, won over 40 competitions in his career. His biggest was the TPA playoff at the Rakes, which would have qualified him for the Bassmasters in 1997 if the Bassmasters had continued. Mick was well known for entering every competition there was, always had a boot full of bowls, and always spent hours practicing trying to find the right pair for the green. He was a big believer in a pair of bowls for a specific green, and the tales are legion of him winning competitions playing with 4, 5, 6 different sets of bowls. Bowls was his life, really. As growing up, he was one of the guys I aspired to be like. Himself, Mick O'Donnell, John Metters, people like that in the East Lancs area. And Mick, well, he'd have entered a competition on the side of Mount Everest if there had been one. And the biggest shame really was he never got to appear in the Bass. That was his ambition. That was what he strived for all those years. And unfortunately he never managed to achieve that, thanks to Bass pulling out of the 1997 event. I don't remember him playing much after that. I'm sure he did, but I don't remember seeing as much of him. And maybe in the 2000s he just decided to call it a day, and as I say, passed away age 75. Very sad news. He was a nice guy, good competitor, and is the sort of player that the competition scene is missing, really. He was the sort of player who entered all the competitions, not just made the numbers up, but was competitive. And like I say, I think he won over 40 competitions in his career, which took some doing back then. And then secondly, the second piece of bad news that I found out yesterday on Tuesday, and this was a real shock for me and knocked me sideways for quite a bit. Hugh Hornby, North Lancs secretary and county player, unfortunately had passed away. His sister found him at his home. I've no idea how or just when or whatever. I'm not even sure how old Hugh was. I don't think he was a lot older than myself. I'm 47. He couldn't have been much older than me. Hugh, landed gentry, author of several very good books about bowls and other sports. Had an interest in roadkill, He used to write articles about it for Lancashire Life. He'd pick up roadkill and eat it, and it's all food, isn't it? And I remember reading Lancashire Life with Hugh's article in about I think it was a badger or worms or something that he'd cooked up. Great administrator, was secretary of North Lancs for many years. Did a great job at that, and he was also a county player and a good player. Never got flustered. You couldn't tell if he was winning or losing. Good record for the county, generally played away from home. And it's just really sad news. I know I have this nervous laugh because if I don't laugh I'll cry. So my condolences go to both Mick's and Hugh's family, and I'm sure all the bowls buddies out there will be sending their regards, condolences, best wishes, etc. So I just thought I'd get that out of the way. Very sad news, and unfortunately there'll be more of it because we're all getting that little bit older. So on to more positive news. The development pool is going really well. I'm getting my first lot of bowls back next week. Donations have dried up a little bit, but I expected that after the initial surge. I think a lot of people might be waiting for the season to start and maybe see me in person, which is fantastic. That's great. I am picking some bowls up next week. I think another 10 sets. And 10 sets. Yeah, definitely 10 sets. I can't remember what else it is. But whilst I'm waiting for the bowls, I've been getting on with the jacks, and you can see here's a few of the purple and blue, silver and blue, and this is a nice one, look, sparkly red and blue. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, why are they all something and blue? Well, I got talking to Dan again, and I said, and I can't remember where I've seen this, I've seen it somewhere, and I'm sorry if I've pinched it off somebody and not giving you a shout out, but I cannot remember where I saw it, and I thought, what a fantastic idea. And one of the things Dan says is, obviously the bias is difficult for kids. They sometimes forget and they don't see the 3 dots or the dimple or whatever. So what Dan does is he puts stickers on. And I said, well, instead of stickers, why don't I colour the bias side blue? So it's blue for bias. How about that? Or blue for bend. Works either way, doesn't it? So each kit, I'm going to try and get 10 kits together. Each kit is going to have 4 jacks with either, you know, whatever colour on one side and blue on the other. And I think that'll work really well. What do you think? Well, it's too late really because I've done it. So, so yeah, I'm working my way through the jacks. I think they're going really well. Yeah, I'm feeling quite positive about that. I'm getting somewhere, feel as though I'm achieving something. Yeah, so that's ongoing, that's fantastic. So if you've any donations, either cash, bowls, jacks, whatever, mats, you name it, get in touch, email, or comment, and I'll see it, no problem. So thank you to everyone that has donated so far, and massive thank you in advance for those who will over the coming weeks and months. Lastly, it's only going to be a short one because I want to get on the golf course. I never called it a golf green then. What's going on with me? And I got a message off Anthony Lewin, and he says, what do you think the youth county's age should be older than 18? And the the junior county is something I've worried about for some years, back when my lad was playing. And I'll just try and paint the picture, okay? My son, he was okay. Not rubbish, not great, he was okay. And he'd only been playing maybe 12 months when he was asked if he'd play for North Lancs County. And I was really concerned about that because, in my opinion, he was nowhere near good enough to represent the county. He hadn't had enough experience, and I worried that he would play an 18-year-old lad who's been playing, you know, a few years for one of the bigger counties, Yorkshire, Warwick and Worcester, Wales, something like that. He'd get demolished and that'd be him done. He'd already lost 21-0 in a competition, which set him back quite a few months. So I was worried about that. And then I asked myself, well, why is he being considered for the county if he's only been playing 12 months? And obviously the short North Lancs struggle to get a team out, as do many counties these days. I know Cumbria, they pulled out. Greater Manchester generally struggled. Most counties seem to struggle, apart from Yorkshire, Warwick and Worcester and Wales. They seem to be the big three counties. Even Cheshire struggle, and they used to be a hotbed. Now, thinking back to when I was a junior, it was an absolute struggle to get into the county side. I used to enter lots of junior competitions all over North Lancs. Did okay, and eventually I managed to get a trial. So possibles against probables. Managed to win that game, and I managed to get a place on the reserve bench away from home. I think I was 14, maybe 15, and it was only 8-a-side back then. So the counties, although they did have the strengths and weaknesses, they were all much of a muchness. They were all sort of 8 at home, 8 away, with lads who were maybe 16 to 18, so they were all pretty strong. And then I'm talking 1987, 88, the game was booming, so they upped it to 12 a side, which, fantastic. Give more kids a chance to play, more experience, all the rest of it. Unfortunately, as the game has got into decline, the bigger counties, the stronger counties, have kept their strength in depth. So Yorkshire, Warwick and Worcester, Wales, those main three. And then the other counties have really struggled to get 12 a side out. And the number of games now, when you look at the results, and there's 21-0s, 21-1s, 21-2s. And for the kids on the end of those, who might only be young, maybe even, 11, 12, because some counties are that stuck for players, playing an 18-year-old, they're playing for the county, they've got to put them away, but that doesn't help the youngster that's on the receiving end. And I know, was it 2 years ago, they split it into divisions, and I think the 12-a-side in the top division and 10-a-side maybe in the second division, or 8-a-side, I can't just remember now, but they split it. Now, for me, the worst thing they could do is extend the age group to say 21 or 25, because you could have grown men playing against 11-year-old kids, and I don't think that's good for anyone. But I do think there is a need post 18, maybe up to 25, to have some sort of representative competition between the counties, because once you're 18, unless you're really good, unless you're sort of Graham Wilson and that sort of standard, you're not going to get in the men's team. So there's this drop off, there's this chance for the 18-year-olds to get disillusioned. They're no longer considered for representative games, and find other things to do maybe. The federation they had a great system for juniors. They had 3 age groups. So they had the youngsters maybe up to 12, then they had 12 to 15, I think it was, or 12 to 16, and then 16 to 18, and I think that worked really, really well. You didn't get these batterings, you didn't get these older lads, older girls, giving out these hammerings, and I think that is really the way forward. Maybe what we need is an under-16s junior championship, and then maybe 17 to 21, 17 to 25, something like that. maybe 3 age groups if you can, but certainly 2. I think 2 would work well, under 16, and then maybe under 21, and have them at the same time, have them at the same greens if you want. But obviously if you play in one, you can't play in the other. I think that's the only stipulation I have. Even 3 age groups might be an idea. Maybe have, you know, 5 aside under 13s, 5 aside or a 6 aside or something like that. And you know, as you get older, make the teams bigger, because obviously you'll have a bigger pool of players to select from. Because otherwise kids just get disillusioned. I know how I'd feel if I kept getting battered, and it's no fun. And you know, it's no offence to the lasses who are giving out the hammerings. They've got to do it. It's a county game, and in certain counties it means a lot more than in others. I've been to North Lancs games where, you know, there's just been the parents there and that's it. I know if you go to Warwick and Worcester, they've got quite a big crowd, and the big crowd will happily give it to the hapless youngster who's on the receiving end of a battering, which just doesn't do any good. So yes, I think there should be an extended age group. I think it should maybe go up to 21 like it used to be. It used to be 21 back in the 60s and 70s. Maybe even 25, I don't know, but 21 certainly. And I would go 17 to 21 and 16 and under. And I think you'd get closer games. I think teams would be a lot closer. And the 16 and under, maybe make it 8 aside, 8 at home, 8 away, just to make the teams more even. And if there's guys and girls who are good enough under 16 to play in the, you know, the older age group, yeah, they can play. They just can't come back down. I think that's the way it could work. But as long as we do need juniors to play, we do need them, because they are the future, and there's less and less of them coming along. So the fairer we can make it, the fairer we can get the competition, I think the more likelihood you will have of kids keep playing when they get the opportunity. I'm going to leave it there. So I've given you my views on that, and I'll be having another chat on Thursday regarding all the comments. And I think the video last week went down quite well with that little intro beforehand, so I'll try and pick another game that I enjoy. It might even be the same year. That Waterloo in 1988 had some fantastic games in it, absolutely amazing games. Might pick another one, not sure yet, but I'll get there. So I hope you're enjoying the weather, because it's absolutely beautiful. I hope you're getting on the bowling greens. I know that there's a lot of leagues releasing dates and competitions releasing dates, so it's all happening and I can't wait. So I'll say goodbye, keep your mask on, stay safe, and I'll see you on the green. Bye for now.